The priceless commodity, the English language, was not so widespread in our village a decade ago. According to the narrator, the English language has now become a priceless commodity that everyone wants to behold, which was earlier not very prevalent in his small village Hosahali. English language was not so widespread in the village a decade ago, means 10 years ago. That is why the homecoming of the accountant's son Ranga was a great event in the village. Ranga came back home after 6 months. When the news of his arrival spread, there was a great excitement in the village. The whole village rushes to see him because he was the first person who had stepped out from the village and went in a big city to pursue his education. The people flocked to his house in a large number to have a glance at him. People were curious to find out whether Ranga had changed or not after staying in the city for 6 months. His courtyard, means the front open space, was filled with so many people. These are some humorous description given by the narrator that the villagers surrounded the house of Ranga as they wanted to know what changes has taken place in Rangapa. All these are very humorous. They are used to amuse us. People were started saying the accountant's son has come, the boy who had gone to Bangalore for his studies is here. All this showed the curiosity of the people that surrounded around his house. Fascinated by all the crowd, the narrator too went there out of the same curiosity and asked people as to why they were gathered, because he could not see anything entertaining happening there like a monkey performing. Even the narrator was also assembled over there out of the same curiosity to see Ranga. But his action amuses us when he asks others as to why they have gathered around at that place. So Ranga's coming back home is almost like an alien coming back. And it all amuses that how they adore or how they think English language is different, because at that time very few people know English. Seeing so many people crowded around his house, after some time Ranga came out with a smile on his face. The narrator here uses the expression "black hole of Calcutta" to suggest that if the large number of people who had turned out to see Ranga had gone inside the house, it would have resulted in the black hole effect. Now, what is the black hole of Calcutta? It is a dungeon, a strong underground prison cell in Calcutta. During the British rule, hundreds of prisoners of war were kept inside a single room. The next morning, most of them were found dead due to suffocation. This is the black hole of Calcutta. Now everyone was surprised to see that Ranga was the same as before and did not turn into an English-speaking arrogant Sahib. There was an old lady who also had come to see Ranga. The old lady ran her hand over his chest and looked into his eyes. She was trying to see if he is still wearing the Janavara, that is, the sacred thread worn by the Brahmins. She was trying to see if he was still wearing the sacred thread or not, and feeling the Janavara around his neck, she said that he hadn't lost his caste and went away with satisfaction. Once they realized that Ranga still had the same hand, legs, eyes and nose, the crowd melted away like a lump of sugar in a child's mouth. So here the narrator is explaining when the people realized that Ranga still had the same hands, legs, eyes and nose, and after realizing that Ranga was same as 6 months ago, everyone lost the curiosity and the crowd melted away. And here the narrator was comparing the crowd melting away with the lump of sugar in a child's mouth. The whole thing is so humorously depicted in the story, in the incident, from the lady who, without any permission, runs her hand trying to see if the Brahmin Janavara was still there or not, or everyone looking at Ranga with curiosity, almost treated him like he had come from a different world. All this creates humor and amuses us. The people returned home after finding no significant changes in him. It was when everybody had gone, the narrator had the chance to ask Rangappa how he was and inquired about him. Rangappa did not notice him until then, but as soon as he noticed, the boy came over to the narrator and then did a namaskara. What is a namaskara? Means touching the feet of elders and taking the blessings. So the narrator observed that Ranga bowed down and greeted him by touching his feet respectfully and replied to him, "I am all right with your blessings." The narrator was very impressed to find the boy still quite cultured and still followed his rituals and tradition. As the narrator could assess people's worth rightly, he could definitely say that Ranga was a boy of decent manners. The narrator is a good judge of people and regards Ranga as a generous and considerate fellow. The way he did the namaskara was also different from the boys of the present generation who did the namaskara without bending their body properly and their heads still up. The other proud boys of his village refused to bow down, but Ranga greeted the narrator with full devotion. He not only folded his hands but also bent low to touch his feet. The narrator was very impressed with the way Ranga did the namaskara, and so he blessed Ranga, "May you get married soon," which is a traditional Indian blessings given by the elders. And after exchanging pleasantries, the narrator went away. Ranga still followed his tradition and rituals even after learning English or pursuing his higher education from Bangalore.